Are my house plants listening to me? Do my house plants really know what's going on in my life? Can they actually hear me? Can they respond? Can they answer back? And the answer to all of those questions is yes, they can. And I wasn't quite sure that I was going to make a video about this, but Spirit really wanted me to talk about this subject because as we are elevating in consciousness, everything is elevating in consciousness. And plants and trees and flowers and grasses and medicine and fruits and vegetables, all of the plant kingdom is waking up as well. And the plant kingdom is super excited because we are moving now in our evolutionary state as a humanity in our ability to be able to telepathically communicate with all the plant kingdom around us. Hi, my name is Nancy Rebecca. My website's intuitivemind.org, and I'm excited to talk to you about this because as we are in this 3D, 5D evolutionary process on the earth, many things are changing. You're changing, I'm changing, the stars are changing, the earth is changing, our relationships are changing, everything is awakening, especially as this new kind of quantum light is flooding into the earth right now, as it increases our higher wisdom, knowledge, and ability to understand more of our awakened conscious world. So, as a clairvoyant, I can see energy fields. And so what I can tell you is that when you're out in nature, what happens to your aura could be in a collapsed state. Your aura could be inside your body because you're trying to be really kind of shut down and protective. Maybe you're being shy and reserved. But when you get out in nature, your entire aura and your chakras, everything expands. Imagine your lungs expanding when you go for a hike in the mountains. Everything is at a higher frequency and very expansive. But what I know about being in the forest, being out in nature, being in a park, being in your yard, being around your house plants, is that the plant kingdom is going to be a very important part in our evolution because it's going to help us make that bridge between our body and our spirit, but make that bridge as we grow in our understanding of consciousness. Now, the plant kingdom are spiritual beings. Plants are spiritual beings. And the plant kingdom wants everything to be, it is their nature to have everything be in balance and in harmony. And so when you're out in nature, your aura is going to naturally expand. If it's shifted to the left, then it's going to naturally shift to the right, left, until it comes into balance. Maybe you've got a tension headache, you've just gone to sit by the beach, and then suddenly your aura starts to expand over the top of your head and you notice that your headache is starting to dissipate. It's because the plant kingdom absorbs what is out of balance in your energy field so that you can naturally come into balance. But in this video, I'm specifically talking about houseplants. And I know some of you watching me today, you might not even have a plant in your house, but hopefully after this video, you will go get one. So the plants in your house, they can respond to the balance, the harmony, the beautiful music you might have around. Maybe you've got the fresh air coming in the windows. Maybe you're whistling, you're singing and dancing around. Your plants, your house plants are going to respond in an expanded way to that higher frequency and balance and harmony of your own energy field, of how you are behaving. If you have very loving relationships around you in that household, your plants are going to grow and thrive and respond and expand to that loving vibration and frequency. If you have some sadness and some depression, your plants are going to do very well. However, they might need a little extra TLC from you because they're working really hard to absorb the toxins out of the environment. It's like their leaves are absorbing the negative energies, the negative thought patterns. Maybe there's a lot of fighting and screaming going on in the household. It's like the energetic shock waves go through your houseplants, and your houseplants can kind of be a little stunned at first, but then your houseplants start to work to absorb the out of balance frequencies to try to bring things back into balance again. Often, I don't consider myself to have a green thumb, but I do. My daughter has a very green thumb, and she's always, she has literally, when I've gone to visit, she wants to show me all her new little babies that are being born. Like, she notices the new little sprouts that are coming up out of the pot to say, oh, little new plants are being born. And so she treats them like people, and she has plants all over her house. But I never had plants because I didn't consider myself as someone who has a green thumb. But that's not it at all. It's that my own life was so out of balance that I didn't have a lot of harmony in my life, that I had some really out of balance relationships, or maybe I didn't honor and respect myself very well. You've heard me talk about this in another video. I didn't trust myself very much, so I could compromise and betray myself by not listening to my own spiritual instincts and maybe staying in relationships longer than I should. So my plants took on the imbalance and tried to heal me to the point that then they couldn't survive. They get dried out, and they just couldn't grow and thrive. They did the best they could do at the time. But as I've gotten healthier in my life, then I have a much easier time having a harmonious relationship with the plants around me. So let me talk specifically about your house plants, because that's what this video is about. Each of your house plants has a vibration and frequency. It also has DNA. It also has genetics, and it has a purpose. You have a purpose. I have a purpose. In humanity, we all have a purpose. Our plants have a purpose. Our animals have a purpose. Your plants also have a personality style. Some are very funny, some are very serious, and they can let you know. Your houseplant can let you know when it's thirsty. Your houseplant can let you know when it doesn't have when it's had too much water, or it needs to have some sunshine. I know I've had friends who was like, it's a Saturday, it's sunny outside, and they take all the plants out of the house out into the yard so that they can have that natural sunlight rather than just sunlight streaming in through the windows. So knowing that your plants work really hard to keep balance and harmony, you will want to start collecting plants and choose one that you are intuitively drawn to, and then find the name of the plant, and then look up on the internet what that plant is known for. What is its medicinal properties? So you've heard me talk about this in another video where I have oak trees, and I have mountain ash trees, that I have tulip trees, I have apple trees, I have grapevines. All of those plants in my yard have spiritual qualities to them and medicinal qualities. They have a vibrational frequency to them. One of my most revered sacred trees that I have in my yard is the yew tree. The yew tree is known for a plant that makes chemotherapy. So when I was going through my own cancer treatment and my own chemotherapy, I definitely went out and sat with the yew tree, and I talked to the yew tree, and I asked that the yew tree, I thanked the yew tree for the vibration and the frequency that it was infusing into my aura to help me to get better. But let me go back to, after you watch this video, go select a plant, go to one of the nurseries, and then look it up. See, why was I intuitively drawn to this? Why did I need to have this plant in my house? Go look it up to see what its medicinal properties are, what its frequency is. But then meditate with that house plant. See if you can give it a name, that you can talk to your house plant by name. After you've just had a date, you could come in and share with the plant what your date was like, what you thought about the date. Your plant's going to telepathically, believe it or not, it's going to communicate back with you. It has a spirit, it has a soul. And so you might not literally hear it from the plant, but it might be a couple days later where you're like, whoa, you had some awarenesses that you might not have had before about that particular date. You can talk to your plants about your problems. And so these are the kinds of things that that is happening in the world right now. The plant kingdom wants to help us cross that bridge into the higher frequencies and the higher realms. So when I was in South Africa, and we were out in the bush, and we were working with a guide, a nature guide, and we were heading towards, in this big kind of Jeep 4x4, kind of climbing up this mountain towards this herd of giraffe. And what he was sharing with us was that the giraffe, you know, they have these very long necks, and that they'll eat the tops of the trees, and they can literally eat a lot of the leaves, and they've got a favorite tree that they like to snack on. So what this guide was telling us is that when the giraffe starts eating the leaves send a message to all the other trees to draw out of the leaves their fragrance. It's like, pull the fragrance in, pull the fragrance in, pull the fragrance in. It's like, warning, 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 the giraffes are coming. And so what it said is they've actually scientifically studied this, that the fragrance out of those leaves would pull out, would go back into the trunk, so that as the giraffes were moving along, they couldn't pick up on the frequency of that tree, and it would pass it on from tree to tree to tree. There's been other plants where they pull in their leaves, they curl in their leaves. There are other plants that will signal when a particular insect was around or a particular bird was around, that it'll really flourish and really show its flowers brightly so the bees can be attracted to it. So there's this real symbiotic relationship that's happening right now with plants and with humans. And can you imagine, as tough as we have been when it comes to living on the earth, we've been kind of harsh in how we treat the earth, that the plants still want to assist us to get better. And there's definitely plant medicines like marijuana that can be really helpful. But again, like with marijuana, you want to talk to the plant, before you partake. You want to let the plant medicine know what type of assistance that you are wanting from enjoying this plant. It's the same like with tomatoes or zucchinis. It's like, it's offering its vibration frequency. So intuitively start to develop your own intuitive style, your own intuitive instincts, your own intuitive precision by starting to communicate with these plants. There's on the rise is, what's it called? The mushroom one, I can't remember. Like a lot of people are microdosing and they're making it legal in all these states so that it's supposed to be a great antidepressant. Sorry, apologies that I don't know the name of it. But again, these are like the fungi or the mushrooms. They have a frequency. They have a desire to help you to be able to bridge that gap. And then, of course, a lot of our medicines that we have, that a lot of us take, that they have their original source in a frequency and vibration of the original plant. And so in the indigenous cultures, they talk about asking which plant wants to be harvested and which ones want to be left alone. How many leaves can you take off a particular plant, and how many leaves do you leave there? So as you start to learn to cultivate your own intuitive instincts, you will start to develop these crazy lady, crazy man relationships with your house plants. Now, before we finish up here, I want to teach you a little healing technique with roses. And these are real roses. And I actually learned this technique from an elder grandmother, from an indigenous elder grandmother. And so you would go to the store and you're going to at least you can get one rose, or you can cut the rose out of your yard. And then the person that you want to offer this rose healing to, you're going to ask them to sit quietly and hold that rose and be intentional about what they want, the frequency, the vibration, the healing essence of that rose to heal in the aura. And then once your friend has set their intention about what they want from this, they want this plant of the rose to help them with, then you take the rose and the stem, you're holding the stem, and you just go around the aura. You start at the top and you just go around the aura very slowly of your friend, and this rose is going to collect up any congestion in the aura. And you go all the way around the aura, all the way down the body. You can go across the back of the neck and the shoulders. You can move it a little bit more around the head. You can touch the forehead with the rose, shoulders, nose. You can maybe lay the rose up against their stomach if they're having stomach issues. The rose is going to absorb anything that's out of balance in the energy field. And then you're going to offer this rose for your friend to take home, and then place that rose in their home so that the frequency can continue to radiate out through the house, through their home that they live in. And you want that rose to completely naturally dry. You put it in a little bit of water, but you don't keep adding water. You're just going to allow it to kind of dry out, crystallize naturally. And it's amazing how long that one single rose can remain. So sometimes I will get someone a bouquet of roses, especially if they've got some big health issues that they're working with. I will usually only use one rose to move through the energy field. But it's a cool thing. I remember as a nurse, I just thought, wow, this is really different. But I loved her teaching. I loved that she taught us how to interact with these beautiful roses to offer a beautiful healing for a friend. So go buy a plant, give your plant a name, have conversations with your plant, learn to trust your intuitive instincts in your relationship with your plant, build up that telepathic communication, mind to mind, with the spiritual soul of that plant, because that plant's loving you all the time. And then go get a rose and ask a friend if you can practice this healing rose technique using a real rose to help them to heal. So anyway, have fun with this. Go ahead and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would. Click the little bell. I'd love that too. And tune in next week to whatever topic Spirit wants to share with you all.